My name is Harold Bennett. I'm 77 years old, and I can feel the narrowing. Not in some dramatic way, not with violins playing in the background, just in the quiet sense that there are fewer tomorrows left than yesterdays. I didn't plan to record this. I don't even know if anyone will hear it. But lately, I've been waking up at 4 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, replaying things I can't redo. And I suppose I just want to say them out loud before the house is emptied and my voice disappears with it. I wasn't always an old man thinking about time. I was a boy once, restless, certain I would outgrow my small town and never look back. I thought life was something that would start later, after school, after money, after the house, after I'd proven myself. There was always an after. I met Ellen when I was 23. She was standing in line at a grocery store, holding a bag of oranges like it was the most important job in the world. She laughed at something the cashier said, and I remember thinking I had never heard a sound like that. I almost didn't speak to her. I told myself I'd see her again. That's the first lie time ever sold me, that there would always be another chance. We married 2 years later in a small church with a flickering fluorescent light that buzzed through the entire ceremony. I can still hear it. I can still see her hands trembling when she slipped the ring onto mine. I thought love would always feel that sharp and electric. I didn't understand then that love becomes quieter, softer. It changes shape while you're busy paying bills. I worked hard. That's what I told myself. I stayed late. I said yes to promotions. I chased the numbers on the paycheck like they were proof that I mattered. Ellen would sit at the kitchen table at night, waiting up. Sometimes she'd fall asleep in the chair. I'd see the light still on when I pulled into the driveway. I remember one night clearly. Our son Daniel was 8. He had built something at school, a crooked wooden birdhouse. He waited all evening to show me. But I had a meeting that ran late, then drinks after. By the time I got home, he was asleep. The birdhouse was on the counter, painted uneven blue. I told myself I'd look at it in the morning. In the morning, I was in a rush. I don't remember ever really seeing that birdhouse. He's 48 now, and I still think about it. It's strange what stays with you. Not the promotions, not the deals I closed. I can't even remember the figures I once stressed over. But I remember the way Daniel's shoulder slumped the next evening when he didn't bring it up again. There are moments in life that don't feel heavy when they happen. They feel ordinary, small. You don't realize they're permanent until years later. Ellen used to ask me to sit with her on the porch after dinner, just 15 minutes. The sun would set behind the maple tree, and the sky would turn that tired shade of pink. I'd tell her I was busy. There would be time later. There was always later, until there wasn't. She got sick in her early 60s. Nothing dramatic at first, just fatigue, then tests, then that quiet voice in the doctor's office that changes the temperature of the room forever. I remember holding her hand while he spoke. I squeezed it like pressure could rewrite what we were hearing. The months after that blurred together. Hospitals smell the same everywhere, like antiseptic and something metallic. I slept in a chair beside her bed for weeks. I told her stories about work, about Daniel's kids, about anything that wasn't what was happening. One night she looked at me in a way she hadn't before, clear, steady, and she said, "You're here now." Not accusing, not angry, just stating a fact. I didn't understand at first, but I do now. She wasn't talking about the hospital. She meant my whole life. I was finally sitting still. I was finally present, and it had taken a terminal diagnosis to get me there. That's a cost you don't see coming. After she passed, the house became loud with silence. Every room held an echo of something unfinished. Her coffee mug sat in the cabinet for months because I couldn't move it. I would walk past the porch in the evenings and feel something in my chest tighten. The chairs were still there. The sunsets still happened, but I had missed so many of them with her, and no amount of regret buys back a single one. Daniel and I talk more now. We're careful with each other. There was a stretch of years where we weren't. I thought being a provider was the same as being a father. It isn't. Once he told me, gently, that he never felt like he could interrupt me. I didn't yell, I wasn't cruel, I was just unavailable. There's a difference, and children feel it. I see it in my grandchildren sometimes, the way they tug at their parents' sleeves for attention, the way their faces light up when someone truly looks at them. It doesn't take grand gestures, it takes being there when it feels inconvenient. I learned that too late for some things. Time has a way of revealing what mattered, and it's almost never what you think it will be when you're 30. When you're 30, you think you have endless reserves. You think the people who love you will wait patiently in the background while you build something impressive. But people age while you're busy. Children grow. Parents weaken. Spouses quietly adjust to your absence. And then one day you look up and realize the version of life you were postponing has already passed. I used to believe pain came from failure, from not achieving enough, but most of my pain came from misunderstanding what was already enough. That realization didn't arrive all at once. It crept in through empty chairs, through birthdays I barely remember, through the sound of my own breathing in a house that used to hold laughter. If you're still listening, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm just tired of pretending that success covered the holes. It didn't. It filled the garage, it paid the mortgage, it impressed people who no longer remember my name. But it didn't sit on the porch. It didn't watch the birdhouse being painted. It didn't hold Ellen's hand until the very end. I did that, and I wish I had done it more when there was less at stake. There's a particular kind of loneliness that comes from realizing you were physically present in your own life, but emotionally elsewhere. It's not loud, it's quiet. It sits beside you at night, and it asks nothing. It just stays. These days, my mornings are slower. I make coffee. I sit by the same window Ellen used to look through. The maple tree is taller now. The bark is rougher. I watch the light change across the floor. There is so much beauty in ordinary things. I always thought beauty required effort, travel, achievement. It doesn't. It was here the whole time. I just kept walking past it. I don't know how much time I have left. Doctors don't speak in certainties anymore. They use soft words. But I feel the narrowing. And if there's one thing that feels urgent now, it's not advice, it's honesty. I wasted years thinking life was ahead of me. Life was beside me, sitting at the table, waiting on the porch, holding a crooked blue birdhouse. If this reaches someone younger than me, I won't tell you what to change. I don't have that right. I can only tell you what it feels like to sit in a quiet house at 77 and understand that love was asking for very little. Just attention, just presence, just now. I used to think I had to earn rest, that I'd relax once everything was secure. Everything is never secure. Time moves anyway. I don't regret working. I regret not looking up more. I regret assuming there would always be another evening.
If you have someone waiting in the next room, the sound of their breathing is not guaranteed. That's not meant to frighten you. It's just true. I am not afraid of dying. I am afraid of having misunderstood living, and that's something I can't correct anymore. The porch is still there. The sunsets still come. I sit in one of the chairs now, alone, and let the light fade without rushing inside. It's quieter than I imagined old age would be, but in that quiet, there's a clarity I never made space for before. I can't change my years, but I can finally see them. If you're here with me in this moment, listening to an old man sort through his memories, thank you. Maybe just sit still for a minute after this ends. You don't have to do anything. Just notice who's beside you.